Welcome to Dark Tourist Adventures. Dark Tourist, one who travels with the intent to visit the site of a tragedy or disaster. In November 1889, the late-night passenger train from Sandusky to Lima was traveling along these tracks, following the route it had taken many times before. As he often did, conductor James Welsh was walking from car to car. As the train reached the area known as Weidler's Passing, several of the passenger cars became detached from the locomotive with a violent, jerking motion which caused Welsh to fall from the train onto the tracks below. He probably barely had time to realize what had happened before the second part of the train rolled over him, decapitating him in the process. Several months after the accident, conductors of the late-night Sandusky to Lima train began reporting a disturbing sight. When they were rumbling through Weidler's Passing, they would see a darkened shape emerge from the nearby woods. As the train passed closer to the shape, it took the form of a man, minus his head. The ghostly figure carried a lantern in one arm, swinging it wildly from side to side. Once the train had passed the figure, the headless ghost would simply turn around, walk back into the woods, and then vanish in a bluish mist. The first time the figure was sighted, most who saw it were willing to dismiss it as nothing more than moonlight through the trees, causing their imagination to run wild. But night after night, whenever a train went through Weidler's Pass, almost like clockwork, the headless figure would appear with his lantern. Finally, those who saw it had to acknowledge that they were sure it was none other than the ghost of James Welsh. But why was he carrying a lantern? Some people say that Jimmy's ghost was waving the lantern to try to warn other conductors to be careful lest they meet the same fate that he did. But a more morbid reason given for the lantern is that Jimmy's ghost was using it while looking for his missing head. Since it didn't seem to matter whether the people were near the front or rear of the train to be able to see Jimmy's headless ghost, a few locals apparently got the idea that maybe they didn't need to be on the train at all. As the story goes, the men hid out near the woods where the ghost was said to appear and waited for the midnight Sandusky to Lima train to appear. Sure enough, as the train whizzed through Weidler's Passing, they saw the shape of a headless man, eerily lit by what appeared to be a lantern in his hand, come wandering out of the wood. Seeing the specter, the men leaped from their hiding spot and ran toward it. Before they could reach the ghostly figure, however, it shot up into the sky and disappeared. Then and there the men decided they would never go chasing after ghosts again. It's been over 100 years since Jimmy Welsh's headless ghost was said to have wandered through Weidler's Passing. A lot has changed over the years, too. For one thing, there is no longer a late-night Sandusky to Lima passenger train, and the terrain has changed considerably. Perhaps that's why there haven't been any reports of ghostly activity in the area in a long time. But who knows? One night, you just might be driving down County Road 236 when you catch a glimpse of a shadowy shape stumbling out of the woods. And if you do, don't be surprised to see the man is missing his head. Looks like it's the end of the line. I'm glad to see you return safely. Looks like you had a safer trip than poor Jimmy. But don't worry about Jimmy. I heard he finally retired. He got tired of having a job and being left behind. All he wanted to do is work hard and get ahead. Do come again. We'll be waiting.